All right, welcome to our podcast. I got it's Justin, and I got TJ with me.
I'm TJ, and for our podcast, this episode of our podcast, we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. And I want to open up by asking you, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
Well, we went over it in class, and I said 27-14, so I'm going to stick with that. And I had the 49ers winning. I'm going to say the 49ers because the story with Brock Purdy. I think a lot of people are buying into the story. I know the Taylor Swift thing, but I think he gonna pull it out. I think he'll be able to pull it out. 49ers defense just gonna have to show up.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs 28-17 just because I feel like, number one, the Chiefs are hot. They got momentum. They went to Buffalo, got a scrappy win. Went to Baltimore, got another scrappy win. So I just feel like they going to keep that momentum and keep rolling. And plus, they've been there before. The last 5 years, most of them have been the Chiefs versus whoever.
Yeah.
So I just feel like going into it this year is not going to be much of a different story. I don't think their defense is going to show up like they did in Baltimore. But then again, them showing up in Baltimore is the reason that I'm trusting them this week. So, and with this win, does Patrick Mahomes become the best quarterback, the greatest quarterback of all time?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of close. Because I'm not the biggest Patrick Mahomes fan, but I can realize greatness. So
Yeah.
he been. So how many times? It was 6.
I think this number is 5, 6 for him
Six. This 6 year
and
being in the Super Bowl.
7, 8 year career.
That's crazy. And he's won that's why he got 2 rings. Yeah, but I don't know. It would be hard to say he is because I know what people are gonna say. They'll be like, he don't have 6.
I'll say he's on the trajectory.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna at that point, especially carrying this offensive roster that he's carrying this year. Yeah, I feel like he'll be in the conversation, or he'll have more room to negotiate in the conversation. But when it comes down to it, he's not the greatest quarterback of all time. Maybe of this generation of quarterbacks, just because there's not many quarterbacks that are putting up the numbers that he's putting up week in and week out.
Yeah.
And that's just how I see it, just because Mahomes is a dog. Like you said, I'm not the biggest Mahomes fan, but I can recognize that what Mahomes is doing, every quarterback isn't going to be able to do.
Nah. And to piggyback off what you said, this year, mainly, for him to have who he's had to throw to,
just last week, Kadarius Toney was hurt, but he wasn't hurt, but then he was hurt. So, but then again, it was a personal reason why he wasn't playing. But the guys that he has, we can't sit here and act like when the time has come, they haven't made plays.
Yeah.
Valdez-Scantling made several plays. Rashee Rice been to me, he's their playoff MVP. Without Ford, their offense doesn't roll.
Yeah. And obviously, you can't forget Travis Kelce. He had a big game.
He did.
Against Baltimore.
He did show up big time against Baltimore.
Yeah.
So, is Travis Kelce your favorite player playing in the Super Bowl this year?
No, I wouldn't say Travis Kelce. If I had to pick anybody, I'd probably say Fred Warner. I like Fred Warner. He's a dog. I like him.
A guy that wasn't drafted high.
Yeah.
I want to say a 3rd round draft pick, just done winning.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was when he came out of the draft. I didn't know who he was. But, yeah, for him to come up, be where he is. But he's my favorite, but I don't expect him to, change the game and, make it. But, yeah.
I think my favorite player is Brandon Ayuk. Just because I've seen him last year versus him this year. It's a whole different person under that helmet this year. And the way that he's stepped up, even with Debo doing what he's doing, McCaffrey doing what he's doing, even Kittle. It's been times in clutch situations that Brandon Ayuk could either come up clutch or been Brock Purdy's safety blanket. And I feel like just the way he's going to play the game Sunday, that he's going to prove that he's a top receiver in this league.
Yeah, like that one play where it bounced off and he caught, like stuff like that,
You can't coach that.
No.
You can't predict that neither. That's legit him going and making a play. And speaking of like making plays, who you think is going to have to step up and make a play for that either team to come? Well, we could do it like this. On Kansas City's team and on San Francisco, who do you think on those teams is going to step up to help their side?
Okay, for the Chiefs, I think I'm going to say Chris Jones.
Okay.
Chris Jones, if he can wreck the game like he always does,
He's going to have to.
If he wrecks the game, the 49ers can't do anything. They won't be able to do anything.
Because their offense is predicated on the run.
Right.
So if he can show up and be a game changer, a game wrecker, like you said in the middle, it's going to be a long day for Shanahan.
Right. You know, he get Brock Purdy off his groove. Like, maybe they could do what the Ravens did on Christmas Day against the 49ers. Get him to turn the ball over, get him uncomfortable.
Harass him a little bit.
Yeah. Don't even give him the chance to get the ball to Chris McCaffrey and all the weapons they got. I mean,
Who do you think from the San Fran side is going to have to step up?
I don't know. I don't want to be obvious, but I think it's just gonna have to be Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock Purdy's gonna have to, like he did, he's gonna have to beat it with his legs. I mean, if he has a chance to run, he's gonna have to run. I know he don't run often, but
that's what got him to the league, essentially, just having that in his bag, being able to pull it out and use his athleticism. But from my perspective, I'm going to start with San Francisco. To me, Chase Young is going to be the MVP of this game.
Okay.
If Kansas City can continuously run the ball at Chase Young, San Francisco is in trouble. I really feel like they're going to be in trouble because if Pacheco rolling, getting 6 yards to carry, Brock Purdy isn't going to get the ball that often. So that's going to put pressure on the rest of your team to pick up where he's left off. There have been rumors of Chase Young getting benched or moving him here or there, but at the end of the day, he's going to have to show up and play ball for San Francisco's defense to work.
So Chiefs, they need to manage the clock. They need to win the time of possession.
They have to run the ball because Shanahan he's a coordinator that loves to get his key players in rhythm. The more chances Debo has, Kittle, McCaffrey, Ayuk, the more chances they have to have the ball in their hands and to go make plays, it's going to change the game. So to keep that offense, we see it week in and week out throughout the whole playoff. When San Francisco's offense gets rolling in the second half, it's a whole different ballgame. So I feel like they have to keep them off the field. And to do that, that defense is going to have to play like they did last week. Steve Spagnuolo, he's been doing this for years. He beat Brady. We was talking about Brady earlier. When Brady went perfect, he's that one mark on Brady's record. So I feel like it's going to be Willie Gay coming back off an injury. Most likely going to be used in a spy sort of role to kind of keep Purdy in the pocket. Like you said, he's an athletic quarterback. He's a versatile quarterback. He doesn't pull it down often, but when he does, he makes plays. So I feel like that defense as a whole is going to have to execute the scheme, but I really feel like it's going to be on Willie Gay and the rest of that linebacker core. And also going into this, I don't think it's going to be a one player type of thing. That's why I said the whole defense, like, because the way they surrounded the ball last week in Baltimore, that showed me that they're together. They're a team on that defensive side of the ball. But I think the biggest key, and Brock Purdy said it in his press conference earlier, I think it was either today or yesterday, he had said, we can't get caught up in this us versus Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just her aura is something that's a whole nother conversation. That's something else. But I feel like from a football perspective, both teams gonna have to tune that out. We in Las Vegas, it's the lights.
A lot of distractions, yeah.
Exactly.
Distractions.
Like I said, Kansas City's been there. Mm-hmm. Recently they've been in the Super Bowl. And so with them returning to this stage, I feel like it's gonna play a part because we've been here. Mm-hmm. We have the experience, we know the fans are gonna be loud, but being in that scenario is different.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I could see that. You know, you brought a good point with Willie Gay. Yeah, him coming back. It's either gonna be him or Chris Jones. Yeah, it's gonna be either him or Chris Jones.
I really do trust Spagnuolo.
Oh, Spagnuolo, he could really call us. Yeah, he call us a great defense.
The way it wasn't like they contained the Ravens. Mm-hmm. It was no hope watching that game.
Yeah.
Like, every time you would think they got something started, you would think it's a rally coming. It's not. Like, Spagnuolo would call up a blitz or call up this disguise or that disguise.
Yeah. And
now we got Lamar, who's an MVP quarterback, not comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah. And I think Snead will be important too. Snead's gonna be important too.
Who does he cover?
I'm sure he probably Debo. I can see well.
Because Shanahan's gonna put Debo in the backfield to where you can't necessarily man him up.
That's what he's probably gonna do. So he gonna have to. Okay, if he does that, he'll be on Ayuk. I'm thinking McDuffie. I'm trying to think. McDuffie's just gonna have to either not Brandon Jennings. I can't think of that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Jennings or. Yeah, so you're right. If it's smart, which he is, he should put in the backfield. Debo in the backfield and McCaffrey, yeah.
Because that's just a matchup nightmare because as a running back, I know, like, it's not many linebackers that's covering McCaffrey going out of the backfield.
Nah.
And now that you add that threat of, okay, we can go two-back and we can mix and match and run it here with this lead blocker. I could have Trent Williams do this or that. And it still ends up in Debo's hands one-on-one with a linebacker or one-on-one with a safety coming from 8 to 12 yards. That's not a successful recipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why I really do feel like this is going to be a really in-the-box type of game. Okay. We're not coming out in I want to call it a shot play defense. Mm-hmm. So we're not coming out in a cover 3 or a cover 4 trying not to get beat over the top.
Okay.
This is going to be a game where we're going to have to come down, play man,
stack everything,
and just keep it condensed and do what we have to do.
Okay. One more thing I had a bonus.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think anybody's gonna have a trick play? Think anybody's gonna pull out a trick play? You know, teams like to do that in the Super Bowl.
Trick play.
Fake punt.
This is Andy Reid, like to the T. Mm-hmm. 4th and 1, 4th and 2. I'm expecting Andy Reid to go for it, and I'm not necessarily expecting a trick play. I'm expecting more of we're going to go spread and we're just going to leak somebody out to the flags. That's what I'm expecting. Now, from San Francisco's point of view, I do expect a trick play just because I feel like they're a franchise that has nothing to lose.
Right.
So we know the Super Bowl isn't a every year thing. We're not going every year.
Yeah.
So for Shanahan to do this after he's been there, since 2016, and this is his first time going, yeah, I feel like it's one of them, we're going to throw whatever we got. We're pulling every cat out the hat.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it work. Okay. What about you?
Chiefs, they, I agree with you with the Chiefs. I think they might do something. It won't be nothing crazy, go for the fourth down, something like that. The 49ers, I think they will. And I think they might do something that might bite them in the end. They might do something like that.
So similar to like the Detroit season.
Yeah. They might try to do a little too much. I can see them doing that.
I feel like Shanahan, because if we go look into the history, Shanahan has been coaching for years.
Oh, yeah.
Even going back to the Washington days under his dad. And his dad was big on playing it by the book. I understand analytics and the numbers will tell you do this or do that, but I feel like Shanahan is going to coach his game like it's his last game coaching.
Okay.
So I feel like if it comes down to it, it'll be a clutch situation where we have to have it. And that'll be the only way that Shanahan brings out the trick play.
Okay. All right. Any more extra thoughts? Because I'm all out.
Yeah, that's all I got. So this wraps up our not our first podcast episode, but the first episode that we're turning in. Got anything else you'd like to say?
No, I do not. That's it for this one.
All right, guys. Hope y'all tune in for the next one.